In the living room, we're gonna talk about just about everything. In the living room, hiding from it is no longer a choice. In the living room, we're gonna talk about just about everything.
Hey everyone, this is In the Living Room. I'm your host, Durante Smith, with my beautiful co-hosts. Introduce yourselves, ladies.
Hi, my name is Nicole Langlois. I'm originally from New Orleans, Louisiana, and I've lived in Atlanta for over 20 years. I'm single with no children.
Hi, and I'm Jill Collins. I've been in Atlanta for more than 22 years now. I'm originally from Peoria, Illinois. I am in my mid-30s. I have a 14-year-old son and a 15-year-old daughter.
In the Living Room, Conversations for the Grown and Professional is essentially a show that's about sort of modern topics that we are experiencing as young professionals. It's dealing with the things that we have conversation about in the barbershops, in the hair salons, around the water cooler. Today's topic that we're going to talk about is, I've got my own, I don't need yours. Ladies, we're talking with two beautiful professional ladies. We're in Atlanta, Georgia. The ladies have it going on. They have their own things. They're they're working professionals. I'm gonna start with you, Nicole. Is there any value in having a man to help out financially around your home or your household?
There is a value in having a man in my household, but it's not financially. For me, it's more emotionally, to have a companion, to have someone that I can share my life with, travel the world, and enjoy great experiences.
All right, hold on. No, I'm gonna say this. All right, I'm gonna say this, guys. If you're telling me then that having a spouse or significant other, two incomes coming into the household is not a benefit, an added benefit, an added value.
It's a huge benefit, absolutely.
That's not what you said. So which is it?
Well, it's not.
Keep it real. Which is it? I mean, do you need somebody there, or would you like to have somebody there to help for the extra support? Now, I'm gonna speak there. I'm gonna say this. I'm sorry to interrupt because I got to get straight to the point. Right? So I got to get straight to the point.
Okay.
I'm married, and I have my wife, and I've learned over the course, we've been married for 4 years. I learned over the course of this last 4 years that there's an ebb and flow in relationships. There's a give and there's a take.
Sure.
There's a time when the male's gonna, not always, but there's a time when the male's gonna make more money or the female's gonna make more money, or maybe you guys at the same plane at the same time, right? That being said, when I'm down, I see that it's my significant other, my wife, who should be there in turn to help keep the household going.
Yes.
If she's down, it's my job to keep the household going, right? That is what I see as a viable relationship. That being said, you as a single woman, are you saying then that you don't feel that that's necessary? You don't need that?
No.
Or what
so
is
you're
it?
trying to get all controversial on me,
I'm just saying, what is it?
I'm saying that I'm a diehard romantic, so I need love. I can make money.
Okay.
And of course, a woman's going to want to have a man in the house that can contribute, but for me, if you contribute and there's no love and there's no passion and there's no depth of feeling there, I don't need that.
Okay.
I don't need a business partner.
Okay.
You know, I'm looking for someone to share my life. Now, I may be unique in that feeling and that sentiment, but that's what I need. Jill, why don't you tell us what you need?
Yeah, what about you?
There's definite value having a second income in the household. I've been independent. I've never lived with a man.
Wow.
So I don't know, except for my father, I don't know what it's like to have a male presence in the house to help cut the grass, to help pay the bills.
Not even drive by?
Wow.
Nothing longer than 24 hours.
Wow.
How about that? So for me, yes, there's definitely an advantage to having a male presence in a house. I tell.
No, wait, let me interject. Are you saying a male presence? Are you saying from a physical standpoint, or are you saying from a financial, or are you saying a combination of both?
It's all of the above. From the financial support to having somebody to hang curtains. There's a benefit you know,
Watch
there's a
the
benefit
car.
to all of it, you know. I'm used to doing all of the traditional male roles, and I'm okay with it, but it sure would be nice to have a helpmeet in the house.
Guys, you notice, ladies, you notice she used the word help meet. Now, my wife and I have this conversation a lot about what is a help meet, right? You hear that a lot. It's common in the black
From
church,
church.
right?
Right.
A help meet. It's actually, my wife says it's a help mate. In either case, my point being is I find it interesting that you say you cut the grass, you do this, you do what you think are traditionally a guy's function in a relationship, right?
Traditionally.
Okay. However, I'm here to tell you there's no that idea of what you think is traditional is no longer valid.
I agree.
But wait, I say that
I agree.
because you have to understand the shift that's happened over the course of the last, let's say we're in our 30s, right? So a lot of the guys I know, they don't come from families where there was a father figure present. So they never had the opportunity to learn what it is that you
The
guys
male.
think is a man's place in the home or household. So
Okay.
I know guys, they would rather pay to have the lawn cut. I know guys that rather pay a handyman that would come in and hang the curtains.
And that's
Now,
fine.
You know,
That's
they're not
fine.
going to do that.
I don't think that has to do with what you're speaking specifically. I think that is more of a change in, there are a lot of things that are not being passed down from generation to generation, male and female.
Right.
So I probably don't cook as well as my mom. I certainly don't sew as well as my grandmother. I don't
Right.
even know how to quilt.
Okay.
There are a lot of things that aren't being passed down gender specific from generation to generation. So that's all I think that is. I don't think it's,
Right.
now, to me being single and having teenage children, if this were the 1970s and I were in the exact same predicament, I'm sure I would be married by now, just because of the societal acceptance or disacceptance of being a single woman. But now there's no real obligation for me to be married without it being the right circumstance or the right man.
I disagree. I'm gonna tell you the reason why I say that, because I know for a fact that my sister and women like my sister and even myself as a male, I have people come at me 24/7 after I was dating for 2-3 years. When you gonna get married? When you gonna get married? That's all I heard, right? And y'all know what I'm saying. Yeah, and
But
people
some
out there.
don't want to get married. She made a very excellent point. Some people do, some people don't.
Yeah, maybe not. But I'm saying if you got somebody that's hounding you all the time, think of what that does, the pressure that puts onto your circumstances if you allow yourself to feed
It's
into it.
irritating, but it's not pressure. Some people have their own time frame. I have a girlfriend, she was turning 30. I love her with all my heart. She's an amazing mother, but she wanted to get married. She and I never had that conversation.
Okay.
However, in her heart, she knew that she wanted to get married and she wanted to have a baby, and that's what she did.
Okay. So for her, it wasn't about the person. It wasn't about the
Well,
relationship.
it's
It was about the fact what she wanted.
It's the proverbial woman's clock ticking. Some women have a clock, some women don't.
In the living room.
Now, here's the interesting thing in our society now, so many women don't want to get married. A majority of my friends have been married before, and you could not pay them to get married again. They're like never, they don't ever want to relinquish that type of power to be held emotionally hostage in a marriage, in a loveless marriage rather than. So they just opt to be free and be single.
And I agree with that. I would rather be single. I don't mind getting married. I'm not totally opposed to it or against it, but I would much rather let it be on my terms. I don't feel any pressure since I already have the children and I'm not having any more. But I kind of like the Kurt Russell and Goldie Hawn scenario. I think I saw her on TV recently and they said, you know, I don't mind being in a birdcage, just leave the door open.
No, wait. Okay. Now, I got to call BS on both of those for you guys. I'm going to say this, because if you're dating a guy for 3 years or more, what do I hear? Every guy out here knows this. By and large, guys are not in a rush to get married. Let me say this again. By and large, guys are not in a rush to get married. We all understand that. Guys, we're perfectly comfortable. I'm saying when me and my wife got married, she gave me an ultimatum twice, okay? First time I was like, see ya. And then, okay, I was like, all right, you know, we need to work this out. Second time I was like, man, you know, I had to make a decision. But my point being is, it got to a point, I was perfectly comfortable. Let me tell you something, I was perfectly comfortable. If we did not get married, we probably would not have gotten married.
If it's not broken.
Yeah, if it ain't broke,
And
don't fix it.
You make an excellent point. However, there are just as many women out there who feel the exact same
They're
way you
Really?
felt.
I am in a
Yes,
relationship
yes.
now and the guy says he doesn't want to kick the tires. He wants to purchase.
Yeah.
And you're not ready.
I don't want to. I'm not interested.
Wow.
There's a lot of women. I'm not one of those women, but it's a lot of women out there.
So what's the difference? Okay, you say you're not and you are.
It's preference.
What's
It's
the difference?
preference. Some people like Denzel Washington. Some people like Shamar Moore.
For me, it's knowing
preference.
myself. I know myself well enough to know that I might feel like the walls are closing in on me if I got married. So I would much rather just
So you
have.
can keep your options open.
No, I would much. No, I'm totally.
That's why I'm here.
That's
I'm here
another
to keep
thing.
your option open.
I find I'm not interested in anything else that's out there on the market right now. I'm totally content. I don't find myself when I go out to dinner looking at the other guys walking in the restaurant.
are
to
you
see.
content?
I'm totally content.
Okay.
I'm totally content. I just have no desire to get married.
And
it
see,
works.
I felt like she
It's-
felt 10 years ago. I
it
was like,
works.
hey, you know, I had a few marriage proposals, and I was like, well, you
Right.
know, let's just stay friends. Let's just, you know,
Yeah.
keep this relationship. Let's not rock the boat.
Yeah.
So it just depends on your timing when you're ready.
And where you are
Yeah,
in-
where
in
you
your
are in your
situation.
life. What
Okay.
it is you want at that particular point in time.
So for you now at this stage of the game, you feel that you're ready to find that significant other to settle down with and make that life commitment with.
I
Is that what
feel
you're saying?
that I am mature enough, and I've played the field more than enough to have a concept of what I want. Because the issue was before I didn't know. I didn't have a God-given clue what I wanted. I didn't want to make a bad decision. And now I feel as though I know precisely what it is that I'm looking for, the qualities that I'm looking for in a guy.
And see, I think that is the problem. I'm gonna say this. I think that is the problem.
Oh, boy.
I think that you ladies think you know what you want. Then in turn, you set these expectations that these guys have to meet. In turn, you're not able to find a guy to meet your standards. So then what happens is that you guys feel like you have to lower your standards in order to I guess really have a dating pool that's viable. That's why I'm finding a lot of. Is that incorrect? Is that an incorrect way of looking at it?
You have a valid point. I don't subscribe to the lowering your standards because society has put all these parameters on us. Well, you know, if I'm college educated, my husband, my future mate has to be college educated. You and I had that specific
Yeah, that's
conversation
right.
a few years ago. You know, the bottom line is people like what they like. They want what they want. And your mom can't come in and tell you, your best friend can't come in and tell you, because what two grown people do behind closed doors is what they do. And, you know, everybody has their opinion.
And
So-
I think that takes getting older, getting to know yourself, and knowing what works for you and what doesn't, whether it's a physical attribute or just a personality trait.
All right, so here's the thing. Guys, understand this. We see two nice looking ladies, right? Okay, so we see you rolling down the street, and you got this fat dude on your arm, right? Okay, is it
Fat people need love too.
I'm not saying it that in that respect. I'm just saying that you got this dude sloppy, this just purely unattractive dude. You understand what I'm saying? Y'all seen this, and we're saying like, okay, what are we doing wrong? Why is she with that dude? Is it about money?
Of course.
Is that it?
The end.
It's really about money?
No brainer, yeah.
No brain, hands down. You said the same thing?
No, not necessarily. I mean, personality goes a long way with a woman. A witty guy, somebody who's really...
So you can be attracted to some dude that's short, overweight, that is purely unattractive physically,
No.
but he's got going on upstairs, and he's witty and he's funny. He makes you laugh, makes you feel good about yourself.
I do have
Treat you
my
like a princess.
physical preferences.
See, then what
if
happened? What happened?
No, listen, I have my physical preferences. So if you find me dating somebody who's kind of a variance from that, there's something else about his personality that is really engaging me.
I see. Okay, so the question then is it more about love, or is it about the financial aspect that comes with it?
It depends on the individual. My personal mantra is to thine own self be true. And what I always try to share with male friends of mine is you need to take the time to figure out whatever woman is in your life, whatever woman you're trying to pursue, what's important to her. What's important to me may not be important to Jill. She may have a criteria that's not high on my priority list, but you can't assume. Men make a lot of assumptions with women. They just kind of lump us all into one little category. So if there's any advice that I can give is take the time, communicate, push a little bit harder to try to find out what is it that she likes. She might be able to buy me a pair of shoes and a Coach bag and I'm happy. And for her, it may be a completely different set of things that are of interest to her that will engage her. So you do need to take the time to do a little bit of investigative reporting.
Okay, investigative reporting. I like that. So how then do you qualify the guys that you date financially?
I don't do that.
I don't either.
I do.
Oh
I
my
never-
guys, hold on. I gotta stop the bus.
No,
I gotta stop the bus.
we're unique.
I gotta call
We're
BS.
unique.
I gotta call BS on
no,
that. You
no.
trying to tell me if you meet a guy and you have no idea where this guy is financially, you're saying that has no bearing on whether you date this guy or not?
I have one friend that drives
your friend,
a
I'm talking about
beat
you.
up
I'm talking about-
raggedy.
I'm
It's a
talking
guy.
about you.
It's a guy who drives a beat up raggedy car because he would much rather put that $400 a month payment in the bank for travel.
I can appreciate
That's his
that.
monthly
but,
travel
but that,
budget.
that has not,
So-
that has nothing to
Is
do
he
with
good
that.
looking?
He's
I mean,
good looking.
he can do
He
that.
has lots.
See, he
he's
can do
wonderful.
that.
He
That's
can
what I'm
do that.
saying.
He can do
Right.
that.
Okay, but that's what I'm saying. So how then do you qualify the guys financially that you date? You're saying it doesn't matter. It does matter
He did
because
it-
you want to be taken out, right?
Oh,
You want,
look-
am I right? Do you want to be taken out?
I
yes,
certainly do. I
right?
certainly do.
You want to be taken out. You want to be treated a certain way. If you're into the arts, you want to be taken to plays or whatever, right? So these are things that cost.
In the living room.
Do you know how I will gauge a guy and whether or not we might be initially compatible? Is the restaurant he wants to take me to. That will say a lot about not necessarily his money, because
Oh, wait a minute.
anybody.
No. So so if the guy wants to take you to Olive Garden over Carrabba's, right? So you
Neither
telling
one
me
of-
because he wants to take you to Olive Garden,
You
there's
can't
something
even
wrong with
take you to
that?
Carrabba's?
If he says Olive Garden, it's
You
going to
shake your
give,
head
it's going to
over-
give
you
me
shake
an
your head
idea.
at Olive Garden. What's wrong?
Or Carrabba's. It's going to give me an idea of his worldliness and what he likes to do. I love independent restaurants. So if a guy says, let's go to this spot in the Highlands, then I'm going to know, oh, this guy gets out and he likes to try new things. But if he says, I want to go to Olive Garden or Applebee's, I'm going to say he's a neighborhood kind of guy. He
But
doesn't
see, but let
venture
me
far
tell you
from home.
something. See,
and that right there says a lot.
You
I know myself.
You just narrowed the playing field
because I know
down
myself.
to 3%.
Guess what?
You understand that,
And
right?
I'm okay with it.
3% out of 100. You know
And I'm
why?
okay.
She's
Because
thrilled
what
with
you're
that,
saying
yeah.
is you need a cultured man.
And I'm okay with it.
That's what you're saying.
I know myself
You need
well
culture,
enough.
right?
I know myself well.
Most of us, I'm gonna speak candid. Most of us brothers are not that cultured. I'm gonna say that because it's the background we come from. You know, I think if we're raised by single women, unfortunately, a single mom who has all this stuff that she's having to do, she may not have the extra funds and all this other stuff to take us to give us the exposure, right? You have to you're a single mom, you're a single parent. You have to take the additional effort to take your son and help him develop that culture.
Expose him to other things.
Right?
But you know what? The guys I'm dating are not 18. Hopefully they're 40 something and they should have experienced some money on their own and they should have
I don't
traveled
know
and
much.
been to some restaurants on their own.
I can
But I'll tell
appreciate
you
that.
what, I'll tell you, I don't have a problem meeting guys who are worldly and cultured. I don't have that problem. They're out there.
Okay, I beg to differ.
They're out there.
I say that because I'm a guy that has a lot of male friends. I have a lot of female friends too. But I'm telling you, most of my guy friends that I know that make money, they aren't that culture. You know, I think they're very close-minded. You know, when it comes to traveling, they're gonna go to the most typical place you can think of, Bahamas or
Jamaica.
someplace like that.
Right.
You know, it's not anything outside of the norm. Is my point. You know, for them, culture is going to New Orleans to the what is it called?
The Essence Festival?
No, the Mardi Gras.
Oh, okay.
You know, that's culture. You know, or the Essence Festival. You know,
Yikes.
so that to me, I think is their idea of being cultured, or going out to eat to a restaurant that's outside of O'Charlie's or Applebee's. To them, that's culture. You know, so I can appreciate what you're saying, but the point I'm trying to make is even everything that you're saying deals with finances, right? So, is it at a point of where you feel you would be personally okay being the breadwinner in your home or your household versus the guy not being the breadwinner? Would that be okay with you, Nicole?
Negative.
Oh, we hit a nerve, guys. We hit a nerve.
No, I mean,
She said negative.
I was raised in a traditional household where my grandfather was the male role model
Right.
in my family, and he cooked, he cleaned, and he went out and made the bacon. So I'm willing to share and to build with someone, but I'm not willing, as a lot of women are here in Georgia actually, to be the only financial.
Oh no, I
person
didn't
in
say the
home.
only financial stream. I'm saying the breadwinner, meaning that you make more in the home or the household than your
Oh, I can make
your
more.
significant other.
Sure, yeah. But that comes with maturity. You know, at one point, maybe 10 years ago, no, that was not an option for me. I would not have considered, dating someone seriously who made less money than me.
If the guy has a drive or passion for whatever he does, and it's contagious, it's hard to overlook that. And let me give you an example. Say I date somebody who's a teacher, and they love being a teacher. And you know, we all have an idea of what a teacher with or without a master's makes, you know? So I would easily out-earn that kind of a guy or that career. That's okay. But I value aspiration a lot more than I do maybe the dollar sign. I love an entrepreneurial spirit. So if I have somebody who's just content, that doesn't bode well for me.
Let me tell you what I think. I think that you ladies appreciate stability more than you do the whole entrepreneurial and all. I don't think that makes two dams for you. I'm being blunt, okay? Because it's stability is what you guys look for. You want to know that come next month, this dude is able to hit, you know, whatever his numbers are, you know, for the financial, for the household, whatever, right? That's what you guys. I feel that you need.
We are both in the real estate industry. So that means we both have a very entrepreneurial spirit. We don't have any sort of base compensation. You know, we're used to hustling and making it happen for ourselves. And I'm sure you probably value a guy who can travel and has the freedom in his schedule to get up and go.
I travel a lot.
So it takes a lot of compassion and understanding from somebody who's going to date us as far as our ebbs and flows with income, with stress. We don't carry the same stress level as somebody who has a regular full-time job.
So you're saying then that you'd be perfectly fine with someone that's an entrepreneur, so that when both of you guys are missing, because in entrepreneur you hit and you miss. Right. Right. You, as you said, you have ebb and flow. Ebb and flow is, let's say you're both down at the same time, right? If you're both down at the same time, bills aren't getting paid. Let's just speak blunt. Lights are about to get cut off, right? Your car is on the verge of getting repossessed. Okay. Now, you're telling me you're okay with that? And you guys are going to be able to work through that? Is that what you're telling me?
If I'm single and I'm still down,
when you say single, we're talking about if you're single but you're dating.
And I have to do the same thing anyway, right? So now we're together and we're in the boat together. We're not going to stay down long. We aren't. We're not going to stay down long.
And yourself?
I'm lost in the translation of that question.
The scenario is you have a situation where it's you and your significant other, and that person is an entrepreneur also, right? That person is experiencing downtime as well as you're experiencing downtime at the same time. So we spoke on ebb and flow. You're at a point where you're both on ebb, right? So the question then comes, you guys live together. He's working and he ain't bringing no money in. You're working, you ain't bringing no money in at this particular point in time.
You're talking to a diehard romantic, and you're talking to old school. So I'm not shacking up with anybody. We're not going to be living together unless we're married. Now, if I'm
That's a problem in and of itself. I'm being honest. For a lot of guys. No, I'm saying for a lot of guys.
I know. Trust me. I know what you're talking about. However, that's a choice. You know, life is about choices. And I had to make a really hard choice in my life with a situation like that. However, if I'm married and I'm committed to someone and we're both down, we're going to work it out. You know, I'm not going to knock him over the head or kick him out of the house or make him feel like less than a man because we're going through a transitional period, because basically that's all it is.
So you're saying you could ride that out for how long? Because that's the next question.
As long as it takes, because you're committed to someone. That's where the commitment comes
but I don't agree. I'll tell you the reason why I don't agree. I don't agree if you're not married. Because if you're not married to that person,
about me not being married, I'm not gonna go through that with someone that I'm not married.
That's what I'm saying. That's my point. She's saying that she's going to go through that with someone she's not married to.
Not for long. That's what, no, but she specifically made a point that she's a hustler. The man that she's going to be with is going to be a hustler as well. So it's not going to be a long period of time.
But you don't know that. We're in a recession. You don't know that. Well, you're making an assumption.
There are traits. There are personality traits.
It's no guarantees, but she knows by her life what she's accomplished being single. And if she picks a man, she's not going to be down too long. You know,
or if it's a guy who's licking his wounds, you know, month in, month out, and there's no money coming in, you know, after a while, I'm going to say, okay, this is not a personality trait that I could live with long term.
Yeah.
In the living room.
I know a couple of different guys in particular that they lost their jobs. They were in the mortgage business, lost their jobs, got laid off, downsized, whatever you want to call it, and they have not been able to get back to what they were expecting, you know, over this last 3-4 years.
Most entrepreneurs have not. We understand that completely. That's our industry.
Okay, I got that. Now, but above and beyond that, these same guys now are in a position of where, you know, they might go 3-4 months without income.
Absolutely.
You know, if you ladies are telling me that you're at a point of where you can accept someone for a specific period of time, right? That you can work through this with a full-time committed relationship or outside of a seriously committed relationship. I think that's something that we as guys, we haven't heard that. That's not something that we are privy to.
Let me qualify that. Even on the toughest months, you will never see me laying on the sofa on a Monday through Friday, chilling, watching TV. So it's not acceptable to me to have a guy who's at home doing absolutely nothing during a downtime.
Right.
So if he has a 4-month period where nothing's really coming in, if he's out every day doing what it takes, sending out the ships so that maybe some will return with goods, I'm okay. But if he's laying on the sofa watching TV, that's a no-go.
Right. Same?
I think, once again, everything is subjective, and it depends on where you are in the relationship, your level of commitment to somebody else. If these guys have been out of work for 4 months, were they in a committed relationship before the 4 months started? Nobody wants to, come on 2 months down the line, you can't supersize my fries.
Right.
But if you're in a committed relationship beforehand, of course a woman's going to ride it out with you.
Right. Well, I say this for us guys, right? I think more of us could probably appreciate a woman that's willing to get in there and ride with us regardless of the circumstances at the specific point in time. If you meet a guy that understand the person that you're meeting, most likely the person that you're meeting today isn't necessarily likely to be the same person that that person's going to be in 5 years. Things change, people evolve. As you said, Jill, it depends on, I guess, their hustle, what they have going about themselves, whatever, right? It's the same on the guy's side. I think if we meet, a lot of times we meet women under a certain auspice or certain set of circumstances, we may not necessarily understand that where that woman is today. If she has ambition, she has drive, she's probably not likely to be in the same point in 5 years.
In the living room.
On that, I think to close out, I just ask you guys to just say really clearly what it is that you think that you can share with the audience, to the ladies especially. How can they be a bit more open-minded when it comes to this whole thing of they have pretty much what they feel is everything that they want, but then they're missing this whole big chunk of their life by not having someone to be there with them, for the emotional support and so on.
I think women need to, you made a really, really good point, focus on their personal lives a little bit more. They've achieved so much professionally, and they need to get outside of the box. That's one of the things that women, just are so regimented, and they have the specific criteria. I think they need to open up their hearts and their minds a little bit more, and be more aggressive about pursuing a social life where they can just interact with some new people, meet some new people, do some different things, go to some different places, join some different organizations, and get out there and date a little bit more. I think they're really limiting their options by just working and going home and sitting back waiting for the UPS guy to come, punky guy, the man of their dreams, to come knocking on the door with a package, if you get my drift. What do you think?
Be vulnerable. Be willing to be vulnerable. Open yourself up. I find a lot of women are really hard and calloused from 1 or 2 relationships and aren't willing to let their guard down. And, resilience is the key to me in dating.
Sure.
Awesome. That's good. Hey, guys, that wraps it up for us here in the living room. Again, my name is Durante Smith. We'd ask that you reach out to us. I'm available at dlsmith@solarisfilmworks.net. Nicole?
And please feel free to contact me with any feedback. You can reach me at nicole100@gmail.com.
Email me. I'm at Jill_Collins@bellsouth.net.
Thank you. Until next time, hey, love, peace, and hair grease.
In the living room, hiding from it is longer a choice. In the living room, we're gonna talk about just about everything.